What is up, guys? So obviously yesterday, I believe, I posted my No-Gi Pans highlight video. It was awesome. I had a really good time. So, I mean, you guys can go back and watch that if you like. But guys, me competing at No-Gi Pans and my friend and teammate Michael Pixley competing at No-Gi Pans created a lot of conversation. The biggest thing that I heard was that we're sandbaggers because we went to a purple belt tournament and we won. I always find this thing interesting, especially coming from wrestling. You don't really hear the word sandbagger as often as you hear it in like the BJJ community. A fun fact I love to throw out there before, or I guess to retort the claim, and we'll talk about it, that me or Pixley are sandbaggers, is that neither one of us won this tournament last year. Neither one of us won Purple Belt Worlds either. I got second, Pixley didn't place, and neither one of us submitted every single opponent this weekend. Personally, I had a really tough B team guy in the finals. Again, you guys can go back and watch that match. Corbin was super awesome. I mean, amazing guard. And Pixley had a really tough guy from Europe. But it always seems to be the case that, I know I'm talking about me and Pixley, but it always seems to be the case that in Jiu-Jitsu, when they see guys who are successful wrestlers, and success is relative, right? I was just an NAI guy. Pixley was the D2 guy. So it's not like we're Gable Stevenson, right? Or Spencer Lee. We're just, we're pretty good wrestlers, right? We're not the greatest wrestlers in the world. But we are having success in Jiu-Jitsu, and that success often gets overshadowed by the fact that we were college wrestlers, where in reality, there's multiple guys at our level or who are better wrestlers who did not have success at the purple belt level, at No-Gi Pans, at No-Gi Worlds, at ADCC trials, etc., etc. And it's super interesting. And then on top of everything, guys, it's a very unique thing because we don't promote ourselves, you know what I mean? We don't give ourselves belt. We're not going to be one of those McDojo guys that are just like, you know what, I'm going to give myself this belt. We have holes. We lose still. We're not perfect. We're not sniping every single person. I mean, you guys see the highlight reels, right? But you don't see the grindy matches. My finals match was grindy. It was gritty. It was exhausting. Pixley's, I believe, semifinals was a gritty match. You guys see the highlight reels and get really sensitive about it. It's a very unique thing in the jiu-jitsu world. And it's funny because when I was a white belt, I had competed against black and brown belts, and I had lost and beat some of them. When I lost to them, everyone was like, oh man, it's okay. You're going to get better. When I would beat them, people would be like, oh, you're a sandbag. Why are you a white belt? So then I got promoted to blue belt. At blue belt, I lost quite a bit, and then I eventually ended up winning No-Gi Worlds at blue belt. And then the absolute, I actually lost to Pixley in the finals. After Pixley beat me in 10 seconds, people were calling Pixley a sandbagger because he was a really good wrestler and that was his advantage over everyone. I don't necessarily think there's that much of a gap between me and Pixley's wrestling whatsoever, and we train together, so we know this. He wasn't a sandbagger then at blue belt. Same for me. When I won blue belt worlds, they were like, oh man, you're a sandbagger. You're a 3-time NAI national champion, which is ironic because those same people that bring that fact up also tell me I suck because I wrestled in NAI, so it's really confusing. Either I'm too good for the belt that I am in, or I just suck because I was not a Division I wrestler. Same for Pixley. So we both win blue belt world titles. I lose in the absolute finals to Pixley. We become teammates. And now we get to the purple belt level, where both of us have taken losses within the past year or two, and both of us have won some stuff. For me, the No-Gi Pans was my first major title. I believe No-Gi Pans was also Pixley's first major title at purple belt. So this is both of our first major titles at purple belt after trying at different tournaments. So it wasn't easy. The work wasn't easy. The training was not easy. And our opponents weren't easy. You know what I mean? We both had tough opponents. In my semifinals, I had the guy who would end up making the finals of the absolute, beating a ton of tough guys, beating other purple belt champions. In the finals, I had a guy who made it to the round of 16 of ADCC trials, a very tough kid from B team. Pixley had the 2-time European champion, the Brasileiros champion. Very, very gritty match. But it's weird. I know for a fact that me and Pixley are both going into both of our last tournaments as purple belts at No-Gi Worlds, which is coming up in about a month, and we could win. We could also lose. I don't really believe that I have control of that. That's why I say like surrender the outcome. I just go out there and I just compete. But regardless, I know for a fact this is my last purple belt tournament, and I believe it's his last purple belt tournament too. And it's just interesting, because people are weird. The jiu-jitsu community is very weird. Both of us have been doing jiu-jitsu for less than 4 years, and there just tends to be this crazy juxtaposition about what the standard is for wrestlers, for us. One moment people are telling us you're getting promoted too fast. When I got my purple belt about a year and a half ago, people were like, you got promoted way too fast. Start having some success, they're like, well, why aren't you a black belt yet? It's really, and these are the same people, right? Same for Pixley. When Pixley loses, no one says nothing. They're like, he's just a purple belt. He lost to Nicky Rod. It makes sense, he's just a purple belt. Goes to Pans, beats some people up, oh man, give this guy his black belt. He's ready for his black belt. It's just very ironic and an unusual thing. And I'm kind of making this video because a lot of people ask me these questions. Why are you still a purple belt? Number one, I can't promote myself. I rep Pedigo submission fighting. For tournaments, I do my camps at Pedigo Submission Fighting, but my coach is Chewy, Jiu-Jitsu. The standard for being promoted is very individually based, and it's not just about what, I've done, like going to ADCC, etc., etc. I'm sure likewise, Heath to Pixley, same thing. I don't really know why I'm continuing to make this video or why I'm rambling on, but I thought it was interesting. It's fun, or let's say it's unique being attacked online for something out of my control. Some people also say, if it's out of your control, then why don't you just not compete at purple belt tournaments? Well, I want to get my reps in. I want to get better too. Like I said, I had a scrap in the finals that made me so much better, and I'm sure I'm going to face that same guy again at No-Gi Worlds, and that was a very 50-50 match. Either one of us could have won it, and I'm sure Pixley thinks the same. These tournaments are not easy. The people that sign up for these tournaments, especially the people who make it late into it, as far as like the semis and the finals, they're tough dudes that are training 5-6 days a week, some of them multiple times a day, and it's really great to get the opportunity to face someone of your similar weight and skill level who really cares about the sport too, at a relatively cheap price. And we don't all get the opportunities like a J-Rod, who was a purple belt and gets to go on Who's Number One. He earned that. He killed it at ADCC trials, but there's undoubtedly some nepotism that goes along with some of the other people who are up and coming purple, etc., etc., etc. I heard Devontae Johnson talked about it. He won Pan's Absolute. It's like, man, you have to put yourself out there in order to gain big opportunities. Max Hansen also said it. It's like, I think I saw Max also a Pedigo guy. I think Max has like 60 or 70 matches this year, and he's like, I'm not waiting. He doesn't want to be that person who just waits. If you're just a person who just waits for opportunities, you're never gonna get them, right? So while you're starting to get better and better and build to the Who's Number Ones, the ADCC trials, the ADCCs, the CJIs, you got to build your name up first at the lower ranks, at the lower belts, and take your time. You know what I mean? It's crazy because the internet makes it look like it's all instant. It's easy. It's so easy to be the guy at the top of ADCC. It's so easy to be the guy at the top of CJI. It's so easy to be the guy winning trials. But what it doesn't often show, what people often forget, is that there's a lot of real work and sacrifice that has to get put in, and then there's lots of patience that has to get put in. Anyways, I guess that's basically the end of the video, guys. I guess I talked about a couple of things, but I just wanted to address that. I know this isn't going to change someone's mind. Some nerd is still going to be like, well, you still shouldn't be a purple belt. Hey man, I'll give you my address. Send me a brown belt. But yeah, we continue to move forward. I can't speak for the rest of the team, Pedigo, but I had such an amazing time. It was super cool. It was my first time competing with like a big team. It was very exciting. I love the Pedigo guys and girls. They're amazing. I'm about to go down there in a couple weeks after my little seminar tour in Canada and do a camp for No-Gi Worlds, try to be a little bit more prepared. I felt like I was prepared decently, but I didn't really do a camp. I kind of just trained like normal, did a little extra cardio here and there, but for the most part, I trained like normal. I was able to get some rear naked choke finishes. I've really been working on the back. But yeah, hopefully for Worlds, I can be just a little bit more prepared, and I'm aiming for 100% submission rate. That's the goal, is get my submissions higher and higher leading into next year, where I'll do a lot more ADCC opens and, really just be preparing for ADCC trials. And man, hopefully, I would love to do CJI. I'm not really that popular yet. So who knows what's going to happen, but if I ever get the opportunity to do that, I would love to do that too. But for now, I do what's ahead, which is No-Gi Worlds. Guys, if you'd like to support me, you guys can see right here, you can join my Patreon by clicking the button up here. Again, as you can see, my Patreon is weekly class lessons. So I teach here in Montreal weekly. And I'll put lessons in once a week, where I put all the lessons into one big chunk. So it'll usually be about 20 to 30 minutes of teaching. I'll also put in seminar footage every time I do a seminar. Like I said, I'm about to do a ton of seminars this weekend. I have 3 seminars this weekend, so I'll put in footage of those. And then as I go on, I'll continue to put in footage weekly, so you guys can learn, as my students learn. You guys can also check out individual instructionals. I literally have everything ranging from duck unders for, our younger, more athletic grapplers, or takedowns for older grapplers, where all we do is underhook takedowns with 0 shots, and more. We have solo drills, we have, riding and pinning and so on, which again, you guys can see right here. click the link up here or check out the links in the description below to find the instructionals, or go to brandonreed3x.com/store. But yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully you guys found the video, I guess, useful, helpful, informational, whatever. It was a conversation. And don't forget, guys, if you have any questions literally about anything, I'm going to pick the best ones and I'm going to try to answer them as I go on throughout the week with these talking videos. Put them down in the comments below and I'll try to respond. Thanks, guys.